Welcome back to the Deep Digger Sports Pod. I'm your host, Drew. My other host, right over there.
What's up? It's D. Good to see you again. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. Drop some comments below. Let us know your thoughts. It's a Wildcard Weekend, baby.
We are talking Vikings, Rams. The Vikings are favorites here. And Sam Darnold, a lot to prove. He's had a good season. They've had a lot of wins. But all that kind of goes out the window this week because you're playing Matt Stafford. You want to get deep into this playoffs. I know Dan Campbell said after that game to Kevin O'Connell, I will see you in 2 weeks. That is put up in the locker room for the Rams because this isn't a bye week for the Vikings. They don't want to look past the Rams. What are you feeling? Are you leaning either way on this matchup right now?
Honestly, it's very hard to get a sense as far as what is going to happen because this is again very closely matched teams. Last time it was a very razor thin margin. It came down. I think it was the face mask game with the face mask that wasn't a face mask call, right? And so I want to say that the Vikings continue on and move forward and go to take on the Lions, but this Rams team has just been a thorn in everyone's side moving forward. They have a couple of when you talk about resume, they have a couple of really good wins, and they won this division that was like a kind of a crapshoot the entire season. And they have a championship pedigree. I mean, realistically, Sean McVay and Matt Stafford and a good chunk of this core Rams team are Super Bowl champions. They know what it takes. And the last time they won the Super Bowl, it took kind of a miracle run to do so. So it's a toss up. I'm so excited for this. It is going to be an awesome Monday night game. What do you have a consensus pick?
I feel like I didn't going into this, but now I kind of have wrapped my mind around one of these teams. I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, the Rams, I feel like no one really believed in them until they finally won the division because at first it was 49ers. This is their division, hands down. They start
Mm-hmm.
slow. And then I think for a second, people were like, can the Cardinals win this division? They're looking pretty good to start this year. And then it was Seahawks the rest of the way. And they were going to trade Cooper Cup. They were like, oh, let's tear it down. Maybe wasn't there a rumor that Matthew Stafford gets traded?
Yeah, to the
And so
Vikings, remember?
to the Vikings. And so they started to win. Puka Nakua gets healthy. He's looking amazing again. Cooper Cup is there. Uh and yeah, this D line for the Rams is one of the most dominant D lines in the NFL. Like they have really carried this defense, carried this team. And I think that scares me against the Sam Darnold team where if you get pressure on Sam Darnold, that could really shake him and really affect his passing game. And if they're not lighting it up in the passing game, that really affects the rest of the thing. Like Aaron Jones, as good as he's been, hasn't really been the kind of guy that is like, let's lean on you the whole game and we're not going to pass that much. He's really been like another tool for Sam Darnold, this offense to use to get that passing game going. And that's where their bread and butter is. So I kind of want to go Rams here. I know Matthew Stafford, been there, done that. And I kind of question, though, as good as Sam Darnold's been, if he loses this game, do the Vikings start to question, do we sign this guy? Like, is he the real deal?
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
has it been like a Kevin O'Connell show and we're just that good that we've made him look this way?
that would if it depends on how it looks. And so if it's a shootout and it's like something like the Rams game a couple years back against, I think it was the Chiefs, where it was just like no defense was played. It was a Big 12 game. Then it's like, damn, we probably bring him back because that absolves his sin. Last week, he did not look good. He just did not have a good game against the Detroit Lions, and it cost them a home field advantage. It cost them the number one seed. And so you lose that game and then you lose a wild card game. I think you're like, all right, we'll have a bidding war. We feel good. We'll have a bidding war. I think we'll be fine. If he gets the win and then redeems himself against the Lions and keeps going forward, then it's like, I think you have to just give him what he wants. He's playing for his NFL future here and how the league is going to view him moving forward. You can't have a bad game that means everything and then lose in the wild card round the week after.
And I'll say, like, I don't think they're really a competitor for the Lions. Like, we seen what the Lions just did, and there's like the Lions tier of everything. There's like the Eagles, and then like maybe the Vikings are there despite being a 14-win team. If you look at it, just looking at some of their previous games, they just lost to the Lions pretty bad. They barely beat the Packers. They barely beat the Seahawks in a tough one. They had to come back and score 10 points in the fourth quarter to beat the Cardinals. So looking at some of these other teams just in the NFC West where the Rams play, they're kind of on the Rams level. Like, I don't
Yeah.
see this as, oh, the Vikings are a better team and like they should run away with this game. I feel like this is a toss up to me.
I mean, realistically, the Rams did beat them by 10 points earlier in the season. And yeah, it was a very close game up until the fourth quarter, but it's just one of those things like truly, were they 10 points better or and they figured us out? Because that was when it started to be the Sam Darnold slump. It was talks about will they trade him? Are they going to actually sign him? When is JJ McCarthy coming back? I don't know. I think that they're how they looked this season has to mean something, right? Like it can't be a I'm going to rag on Indiana again. It can't be a college football Indiana equivalent where they just didn't play anybody. They were looking good. And in the NFL, like every team can beat any team on any given week. You know what I mean? And the way they were beating people, it was just they were making them look silly. And so I think that has to count for something. I think this Viking teams is very good. I have to like take what I've seen before and equate that into them getting a wild card weekend win.
Yeah, and I think the case to be made for them to get this win, especially Brian Flores, his defensive schemes have made quarterbacks look stupid this season. Like the blitz schemes they're running, like the shifting, the like this masking of the coverages, like it's insane what Brian Flores has done, and it's gotten him all the way back to getting head coach. Like he probably is like top 5, top 3 right now in the coaching candidates of getting interviewed. Like he is a name getting thrown around a lot for a job. I'm not saying that he is that level. I'm saying in consideration, he is getting a lot of buzz. And I think that gives them a big edge. Matthew Stafford is a guy who can go at you and win you the game in the fourth quarter. But those three quarters leading up, it could get a little dicey. It can get a little dicey, but he needs to be, if he's within striking distance at the end of the game, I would hands down give the keys to Matthew Stafford over a lot of guys.
I know he is. I don't know if you know this, but he's friends with Clayton Kershaw. But if I had to equate him to somebody, we're San Francisco Giants fans. The San Francisco Giants had a closer named Brian Wilson, and it always felt like Brian Wilson was better if he gave up a run to make the game closer because he felt the pressure on himself. That's what it feels like Matthew Stafford is. If the game is close, like, oh, I'm ready. I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna just nothing but fastball, fastball, fastball. If he doesn't feel that pressure, like you can if you can get to the Rams early and get a lead, I think that's your best bet here. And we've seen that happen with this Viking team before. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna say Vikings.
I'm going Rams. I'm going Rams. I think the defensive line for the Rams has just been that impressive for me. And I like what they've like stepped up in the secondary and the linebacking core. And I'm just gonna lean on Puka Nakua more so than Matthew Stafford. And the run game. I will say right now, I looked at the final injury report, and no injuries for the Rams going into this one. I think the only one that I think really matters for the Vikings, Cam Akers is banged up, they have worked in,
Yeah.
but not a huge deal. But I think the Rams are healthy, ready to go. It's almost like you're saying, like their back is against the wall and they're really doubted. And that's kind of where I'm like, all season I've been like, well, the Rams are a bad team. Like they're gonna be last place. Like whatever, they're not a problem. And they just keep on finding ways to stick around and win, which is really annoying as a 49ers fan. But it's been really impressive to see.
Yeah, I almost talked myself into the Rams, but I have to go with, again, all the evidence that I've seen from this Vikings team, the weapons that they have, the defense that they have. I have to trust that they are going to win one game in this playoff, and it is this game. They got to.
I'm
This is
going
it.
with the I'll believe it when I see it approach with the Vikings. I want to see them do it on the big stage.
They have one of the best wide receiver duos. They have a very capable quarterback. Their running game is really good, and defensively, they have a mastermind just giving offenses fits. I have to trust that. I'm taking the Vikings.
I mean, I'm just like looking back on the schedule, remembering the games I've watched of them. Like, I can't confidently be like, yeah, they could beat the Rams easy. Like, there's games that were close. There's games that I was like, are they really that good? And I don't want to say that it's the scheduling thing and it is the college football of it all, but I am kind of like the Lions were just head and shoulders above them. The Packers, I feel like it was kind of neck and neck. And then if you the I think what's keeping me from picking them is the Arizona Cardinals should have beat them, and the Rams are way better than the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where my head's at, where I'm like, I can't get that game out of my head that if Sam Darnold and this team like barely they have really had a claw and fight to beat this Cardinals team. I think the Rams have a legit shot, and I like what they're doing. I'm going Rams.
All right. Well, be sure to hit that like button, drop some comments below, let us know your thoughts, and make sure you subscribe. We'll see you later.
Peace.